This is my motorcycle. It's a 1980 Honda CB750 Custom. I've had it for about a year now, but I'm starting to notice a couple problems with it. So today we're going to fix them. First, the front suspension. As you can see, they're leaking oil absolutely everywhere. So the fork seals need to be taken out and replaced. Next, I got to check the valve clearance because as I'm driving, I'm starting to hear a little bit of a tapping noise. To get to the valves, we got to lift off this cover, which means we got to take the seat, the gas tank, and a couple wires out of the way first. Removing the gas tank is surprisingly simple. It's only held on by this one bolt here, and then we just got to disconnect the fuel line back here. Pops right off. Also got to make sure that I turn this off so it shuts off any incoming gas. There we go. Now that our gas tank's out of the way, we get a better angle at the whole top end here. We got to remove these caps here to lead to the spark plugs. I should mention this at the start of the video, but I'm not a mechanic. I don't know what I'm doing. I just have a service manual and I'm going off of that. So if you think I'm doing something wrong, I probably am, and let me know in the comments. Finally, the last thing we got to do is remove this wire. It leads to the tachometer up here, and then we'll be able to take off the valve cover. It's both being a little sticky. It's wanting to strip, and my next biggest one doesn't fit. First take up in the maintenance, it's just wanting to strip, so I'm just gonna leave it for now and work around it, I guess. See if you can get this cover off with the tachometer. Oh, that thing is locked in. Dang it. So after reading online, apparently motorcycles built in Japan, mine's a Honda, built in Japan, especially old ones, use screws with a JIS head. This here is a Phillips. JIS stands for Japanese Industry Standard, which looks exactly like a Phillips head, but is completely different. As you can see, the Phillips head is a little softer, while the JIS is very, very strict 90 degrees on its hash, on its cross. And it also seems like it doesn't go as deep. So when the Phillips head goes into a JIS screw, it doesn't seat as far as it should. So when I'm turning it, it's not getting as good of a grip, and then it wants to strip, which is causing all the issues. So we're gonna have to put that on pause for now. I'm gonna hit up Amazon, get a screwdriver set, order that up. In the meantime, let's go move on to the front forks. Alright, first step to replacing the fork seals, we gotta get the weight off the front tire because we need to remove the front tire. Let's do it. Now, I don't have any fancy lifts. I don't even have a car jack, to be honest. So instead, I'm gonna leave it on a center stand, and I'm gonna just put a bunch of crap on the back here until it leans far enough back that the front is off the ground. Wait, that might work. Okay, I got this box underneath the engine mount down here, which is propping up the front wheel. Let's go. And just in case, 2 bags of mortar on the back. Oh my God. That is terrifying. I've been driving around on this thing, and this is just loose. Holy crap. Not good. Why are both of these? Holy shit. Oh my God. I should be dead. That is, wow. Brake caliper, way too easily removed. To get the wheel off, we gotta take out these 2 bolts down here. Very oily, not good. And then the same on the other side. One. Look at that. Jeez, so much fork oil covered. Woo! There we go. Front wheel, check. Gotta get this fender gone. Bam. Next up, we gotta loosen up these babies up here because that's what's holding in the rest of the fork. So there's a cap right here, which I should be able to pull off. Ta-da. This is what's clamping it all in. So I think if we loosen this first, it'll release some pressure on the top part. A little annoying, the choke is in the way. So I guess I won't be doing that right now. Oh, it looks as if there's a second clamp here. There we go. There we go. One whole fork. We have to do both. But while this is out, let's just do the whole process. And then, you know, movie magic. You don't have to watch me do it a second time. Alright, these babies are still chocked full of oil. So, before we can do anything else, we gotta get it out of there. This baby here, oil drain plug. But if we open that up, it's gonna take forever. So, we need to crack the top. The clutch pull was in the way before. And I don't have a vise to hold this in place. It doesn't want to come. So I'm thinking the second grip that was behind here, holding it in. I'm going to slide this in. The first idea was to slide it into here and then I get access, but this is a full cylinder. So instead, I'm going to see if I can bring it up into here, not as high as before, so I can maybe angle my socket wrench, get it in there, go to town, crack it open. Okay, that seems like the Goldilocks. So if we tighten it there. Oh, let's go! See, engineering degree comes in handy. Let's empty this thing. Let's not get too dirty. Here we go. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but this thing is very black. This is quite old oil. Smells awful too. It's not really draining that much, but I think if I undo the top, we'll start to get a bit of a flow going. Oh, there we go, baby. Oh God, that reeks. Holy crap. That's got to be the worst smelling thing so far. I thought the gear oil in the Jeep was bad. This is disgusting. Okay, some's come out. I don't think all. So we're gonna pour, well, let's take the spring out. There you go. Let's just pour and see what happens. Nothing. Maybe that's crazy if that's all the oil. Alright, next thing we're gonna do is take this baby apart. Right in there, the hex bolt, it's holding this entire column together. So I undo that, give it a cheeky yank, and it should come apart. Holy fuck. She's on there tight. Okay, the book is suggesting use a vise. I ain't got one, so bring out the engineering once more. Oh baby, yeah. There you go. Hand vise, foot vise, whatever you want to call it. There we go. Next, well, you take this part out. Boom, boom. Clean this baby off. Disgusting. We're getting very close now. All we need to do is get this dust sealer off. Then underneath there should be a little clamp. Underneath that, fork seal. There we go, got the seal off. Oh boy, you guys see that? Just sludge. Nasty. No wonder it's been leaking though. Ugh. Look at that. Gotta be careful not to damage the inside. Woo! Let's go. This crusty boy. Look at that sludge. Okay, final cleanup. Then we gotta put it all back together. Before we slide it in there, got some automatic transmission fluid. Didn't really specify what kind, so I just got the cheapest one. Should be fine as long as it's the same weight. Manual says to cover this in it. Now in the manual, they have a special part to put in the seal to lock it in nice and good. As you might expect, I don't have that part. So we're gonna make it work without it. Take the leg, stick the leg on in. Has to be the seated part down, if it's the same as before. There we go. It is going in easier than I was expecting. See if this works. Oh, it just slides in there. You can see there's a snapping edge, which means toss this bad boy back in. Locked in there. Now, let's just put this thing back together. We have our oil lock, and then we have our seal, our dust seal. Then we have our fork pipe. Piston with the spring and the piston ring on there too. And then before we tie everything else down, I'm going to reattach this bad boy here. Locked in. Oil relief. Next, we fill the fork back up. Each fork needs 177 mils. Okay, then we get to pour this baby on in. Slide the spring in. And then throw the cap back on. No leaks, looking pretty good. May have tightened it a little too hard. Guess I gotta order more parts. Alright, the GIS drives have come. Let's hope this is what was holding me back. Oh, let's go. Look how stripped it's gonna get. That head looks like a windmill. Oh. Well, for anyone that's never seen the top of an engine before, like myself, this is one of them. Now behind this cover on the bike is the crankshaft, which I need to rotate so that I can get it in the proper place to take the measurements. Here we go. Now I gotta rotate this until this notch right in here comes in line with this. They're pretty much right on spec. Now that the valves are done, we just have to put everything back together. Okay, we've got it all back together now. Spark plugs are in. There should be some gas left over in the bottom of the carburetor, so let's see if this thing runs. So when I turn the bike on, I can see oil coming out of here. So either the gasket has cracked, or it could be because I didn't put gasket maker. Previous owner must have put gasket maker, that's what this red stuff is. I didn't put that on when I put it back together. So I'm gonna take it off, inspect it, and probably throw some gasket maker on there, and hope that it fixes everything. See what happened. Somehow this happened. I don't know if I tightened it too much, or if it's just because it was an old gasket, or maybe the head sat on it inappropriately when I first tightened it and I pinched it, but it's broken. So I gotta order a new one, which means project delayed further. Got myself a new gasket for the head cover, and I got a new bolt for the top of the suspension. So it took a while, it's all here. Let's put it back together and hope that it stops leaking oil. I have a torque wrench, so I won't do it again. I got your harness up. Okay, everything looks like it's actually seated now. I've hand tightened it down. I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit, and then a little later, I'll torque it down to spec. Okay, I just had to run for a little bit. It was looking good. Until right here started leaking. It turns out this baby here, I over torqued. I read on line 14 and that was too much apparently. It needed to be 7 foot-pounds, and I completely stripped the hole inside of the valve cover, which is such a pain in the ass. Every time I do something right, I break something else. Okay, it's like a month later than when I was last working on this, because the valve cover bolt stripped, which is pretty scary, but after doing a bit of research, fixable. The only problem is it's in the hardest place to get to. If it was one of these, easy, no problem, simple fix. But no, I stripped this one, and you gotta drill it out and all this crap, and it's just so much stuff in the way. A regular drill is not gonna work, so I had to get this, a 90-degree angle drill piece, and then use this, which is a helicoil set. You drill it out, tap in a new screw and then slide one of these babies in to bring it back down to the original diameter. Looks like a spring, but this screws into the hole into the tap I'm gonna put into it, and then my original bolt can screw into the inner part. Pretty cool little kit. Let's just hope it goes well.
I don't know what straight is, but how do you know when you're there?
Good question.
Is this aluminum, this?
Holy crap.
Is it down? Hey?
No.
And it's ticking already?
Mm-hmm. This is the never-ending project. Honestly, every time I do something, something else breaks. It's an endless train of mistakes. But let me explain what's currently happening. So I put the Healy coil in there, fitted it in after I tapped it and everything, as you saw, but I didn't tap it all the way down. So when I put the bolt in, it started to grab onto it and rotate deeper past the tap. And as it rotated deeper past the tap, it grabbed onto the bolt even tighter, which means it can't go further. It wasn't able to actually go down far enough to be holding down the valve cover. So I have to take that current Healy coil out, tap it further, put a new one in. Hopefully that works. Ooh, it seems like it's working. Oh, there it is. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, I'm so incredibly happy. Let's go, baby. There we go. There we go. Progress. Something finally worked as intended. Okay, time to retap all the way down to the bottom. I got the tape on there because I measured out how deep the other holes are. So, gotta go at least to there. Let's say we're there.
I'm nervous, Sebastian.